Good morning and welcome back to our O300 study of data collection and types of data. Now we've looked at graphing, we've looked at collection, we've looked at what different types of data are called. Now we're going to take a look at some of the ways that we analyze this data. And when we analyze it, look for meaningful patterns in the data, we tend to look at the measures of central tendency and spread. Central tendency tells us where our data is centered. Central tendency focuses on where the data is centered. So we're looking, I don't really want to use the word middle because we're not necessarily looking at the middle. But you can kind of think of it that way if it makes it a little simpler. Spread is how far apart your data is. You could also think of it as how much ground you cover. When we look at measures of central tendency and spread, we look at mean, median, mode, range, and mid-range for the big ones. There are some others, but we won't go into them here. We'll save those for statistics. I know you are so excited. We'll start out with mean. Mean doesn't mean you're insulting people left and right. The mean, very simply, is the average. We are averaging all of the data points in a list. How to find it? Well, we are going to add all of the things. And then we are going to divide by the number of things. Super easy to find. One of the things I will tell you is that life gets easier when you use Desmos and you add all of the things and divide by the number of things all in one step. And with Desmos, that isn't a big deal. One of the things you may really find interesting about the mean, well, I do. Most people don't, but I do. The mean is not always really reliable. If you are looking for a place to move, one of the things you'll see is data about average salary or average income or average housing costs. And don't be fooled by those averages, because averages are very, very susceptible this is the math major coming out in me, where if you're not really sure how to spell a word, you just substitute a word you do know how to spell. influenced by extremely high or low values. So if you're looking at an area to move and they tell you that the average home price is $350,000, you necessarily will not find homes for sale for $350,000. That could be skewed really high based on extremely high home values, one or two, or extremely low home values. So be very, very careful when you're trusting data that tells you about the mean. The median is the middle. It's the middle number in a data list, but there's a catch. You have to put them in order first. If you don't put the numbers in order first, you don't stand a chance. Now, there's a couple of different ways to find it. The first thing we have to do is put your numbers in order. Then we're going to find the middle. One of two things is then going to happen. The first thing that can happen is there is only one middle number. When that happens, congratulations, you have found the median. It is possible that there are two middle numbers. When that happens, you average them. Once you average them, that gives you the mean. Not the mean, the median. When you get the median, this is actually a little bit better measure of center than the mean is, because the median is not influenced by the values of the numbers. It is not influenced by the actual numbers. Their values. Lordy, y'all, it is too early for this. But instead by their position. In line. Mode is the value that occurs most frequently. If you have one mode, That is certainly a possibility. You could have two modes. That means you are called bimodal. So if you have a list where 30 occurs twice and 41 occurs twice and nothing else occurs two more times or more, then you have two modes and you list both of them. Once you get past two, that would be three or more. We just call this multimodal. To find the mode, it can help to put your numbers in order. You don't have to. It is optional. But if you're already doing it to find the median, you might as well piggyback off of that and do less work. That does not say most. The mode is probably the easiest one to find. You just count. The range tells you how spread out your data is. You sometimes will hear teachers say that their grades ranged from a 34 to a 75 on an exam. That means their lowest score was a 34 and their highest score was a 75. The range is very susceptible to outliers since it relies solely on the minimum value and the maximum value. It is greatly affected by the values of those numbers. And I don't know if I said it before. Like I said, y'all, it is super early, at least for me. Outliers, we'll stick it down here in case I use it again. That's just extreme values. Whether it's high or low, an outlier is considered a number that's weirdly one of those. The range is super easy to find. The range is equal to the maximum value minus the minimum value. And if your mental arithmetic skills are as on point as mine are, I highly recommend the calculator for that. The last one is the mid-range. Basically, this is the average of the range. It's the average of the minimum value and the maximum value. Super easy to find. It's the minimum plus the maximum divided by 2. Again, use of the calculator, highly recommended. Because the range is highly influenced by outliers, that means the mid-range is also going to be highly influenced by outliers. So I am going to take the lazy math person way out and copy and paste those. Let's go use it. I have several data sets here. It doesn't look like I was very nice and put these in order for you. So I'm definitely going to do that first, even though the median is not the first thing I want to find. I'm going to go ahead and do that, kind of warm up my brain a little bit. Let's see. It looks like my smallest number, and this is going to be useful later, so I'm going to note it for my range, is 31. So I used this one. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 34s. And once I use them, I'm going to scratch them out because I'm really bad at missing numbers. 37, and then 38, 41, 42, and 43. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got them all. Okay, the average says to add them all up and divide by the total. Well, our total number of things, the size of our set, was 10. So I'm going to come over here to Desmos. I'm going to make Desmos a little bit bigger. I'm going to go ahead and start with the division button. So I'm setting up a fraction. And I'm going to enter all of my data values. I had 4 34s and a 37 and a 38, 41 plus 42 plus 43 divided by the total number of things in my set. So I get 36.8. For my mean. Median was the middle number. Y'all, I don't like to complicate things if I can help it. I do this very, very simply. I cross out one from the back and one from the front until I can't cross any more out. Well, now it looks like I have 2 middle numbers. I warned you about this. When you have 2 almost medians, I call it almost medians because they're not really the middle yet. Take your 2 numbers and find their average. This is definitely a problem for Desmos to solve this morning. 34 plus 37 divided by 2. So my median is 35.5. The mode was the number that occurred the most. I very clearly have one mode. I had 2, 3, 4 34s. So 34 is my mode. The range goes from 31. My maximum value is a 43. The range is the maximum minus the minimum. (43) minus 31 is 12. about 3 hours, I'll be able to do that in my head. The mid-range, we said, was the average of the range. So this time we're going to do the max plus the min divided by 2. That sounds like a problem for Desmos. So I need 43 plus 31 divided by 2. That gives me 37. So you can see that the range and the mid-range are vastly different numbers, and that's okay. In most cases, they will be. So there's our first set of measures of central tendency and spread for that data set. Let's go take a look at a different one. Now we have a few different numbers. For these, I think I'm going to go ahead and put them in order again first. It looks like my smallest value is a 75. And then 2 77s. And a 78. $80. And then 82. 2 92s and a 95. Alrighty, we were in business. Because my squirrel brain just latched on to the min and the max, I'm going to jump down to the range. My minimum was 75. The maximum was 95. Y'all, I can do that math. So the range would be 95 minus 75. Well, that's 20. I'm glad I picked that one first. The mode, I want the one that happens the most number of times. So I have 2 92s and 2 77s. That means my data set is bimodal. We have 2 modes. I already forgot what they were, 77 and 92. It's that simple. I might as well bite the bullet and find the mean. I'm going to come over here to Desmos. And I'm going to add them all up. 75 plus 77 plus 77, 78, 80, 82, 92, 92, and 95. Oh, something happened. 80. It didn't like my 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We only have 9 data values this time. So our mean is 83.1. Ms. Graham, how do I know what I'm supposed to round to? Read the directions. And if it doesn't say, make your best guess. 1 decimal place is probably fine. The median is the middle. So I am going to take out 1 from the front and 1 from the back until I can't anymore. And the one that's left is my median. Is it a particularly elegant procedure? Nope. Does it work every time? Absolutely. The mid-range was the average of the min and the max. So we'll do the min plus the max divided by 2. I'm hoping it lands fairly close to 80, but we'll find out. 85, not bad. One more. Let's see what delightful things this one has in store for us. I'm going to go ahead and put them in order, just like I did the last one. My smallest value is 14. And then 51. If y'all see a smaller one, tell me. 55 and 55. Nobody said anything, so I'm going to assume it's okay. 62. 65. 72. 76. 78. 79. Who put so many numbers in this list? Oh wait, that was me. It seemed like a great idea at the time. Now I'm sort of regretting it. 83. 85. 91 and 93. Okay, automatically my brain pulled out the min and the max, so I'm going to jump down to the range again. My minimum was 14. The maximum was 93. If you saw one bigger, now is your chance to tell me. Otherwise, we're going to pretend that's exactly what it is. That means my range is 93 minus 14. Really? $79 for my range. That means that my minimum and my maximum values are 79 units apart on the number line. That's a pretty big spread. Mid-range, since I'm here using the min and the max, we're going to average them. If, when you're doing these, you accidentally write 93 plus 14, don't worry about it. Don't start over. Just do it the way you have it. Because we're dealing in the real numbers, we have that commutative property of addition that we studied, I don't know how long ago it was, but it said that it's okay if you add 14 plus 93 or 93 plus 14, it's going to come out the same way. So don't stress and think you have to start over just because you put them in a flip-flopped order. So the middle of our mid-range is happening at about 53.5. We'll see how that compares to our mean and our median. I'm already in a bottom-up kind of mood, so we'll go with the mode. It looks like I have two 55s. And that's it. So our mode is going to be 55. I guess I'm going to suck it up and do the mean before I start crossing things out on the median. Talk amongst yourselves. Go to the fridge, get some water. I'll eventually get these in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. What was I thinking? Okay, the mean is 68.5. The median, we find the middle number. And of course, we have two middle numbers, so we need to add them up. And divide by 2. That should put us at 74. So if we look at the middle of our range versus our median, there's a big difference between those, and that's totally fine. It's just an interesting observation. Well, interesting to me anyway. That is the end of our very, very shallow dive into measures of central tendency and spread. If you thought it was kind of interesting, definitely join us in statistics for a semester. Fabulous class. I hated it until I taught it, and now it's my favorite. See you guys later.